Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Once again, my name is Alexis. I hope you are enjoying your 2025 so far. Cannot believe we're already in February. This month is very special, right? Represents love, whether that's be for your significant other in your life or just purely for yourself. But just thinking about self-love, everything that's been going on in this world, the political and social climate, definitely as it relates to women of color, thinking about my voice, right? I feel like women in general, our voices have gotten lost in the shuffle. I feel like we're being heard. We're losing ourselves just in our everyday today tasks and responsibilities. So what better time than to start bringing that focus back on you, right? In today's video, I want to focus on the importance of building your personal brand. What that means is you are walking, feeling, and showing up as your most authentic self in this world to be able to attract and love the outcome, the abundance that you want in this life. It starts with you. It starts with the love you have for yourself, and that coincides with your personal brand. Women, we don't have time, right, to think about those things, but it's very important because in order to show up for yourself, for your loved ones, and for others, you need to pour into yourself first. So that's what building a personal brand is all about. You speaking through your aura. Let that speak for you before you enter a room. And I would say the most impactful way to have your voice heard is through your style, through your presentation. So I want to talk about your personal brand and how to find it. And I've broken it down into a 4-step process. So that consists of thinking back, digging deep, going back to the basics, the history of you, your backstory, who you are, setting your value, your emotion, and your intention through your style, and what that looks like. And from there, reverse engineering and identifying what those visual cues would be, representing that. And fourth is confirm and verify. Now this all ties into the 3-word method, which has been all over social media. I believe stylist Alison Borstein was one that really made that mainstream. And I think it's just a beautiful idea of being able to find your style word, aka building your style identity, which is what I want to focus on. So let's talk about the first step, digging deep, looking at your backstory. Who am I really, right? What hobbies or interests did you enjoy as a child, right? Really thinking back. I like to go this deep because us as children, we're not thinking about the responsibilities of the world. We want to have fun, and most importantly, that is the moment in time in our life where we are our most authentic self, all right? We're fearless. We're living life to the fullest and on our own terms. And I feel like that is the true essence of who we are as a child to who we are today as an adult. You know, how would you describe your style when you were younger, right? Were you out on the playground, playing sports, or were you more of an indoor kid, playing with dolls? Were you girly? Were you more of a tomboy, right? You just put on clothes, whatever was playing to get you out there and have some fun. In the teenage years, were you all about, the latest trends or fads and that influenced your style? So just asking those questions. Thirdly, thinking back on maybe top 3 or 4 traits your loved ones or family describe your personality, who you were as a kid. That speaks volumes because, again, going back to the authentic side of ourselves as a child can help us tap into who we truly are. So if you aren't sure, that's a great time. Just ask them now. And then second step, this is the time where we want to fine-tune our value, our emotions, and our intentions. When it comes to style, what are your key non-negotiables that need to be present in your wardrobe and your style as it relates to function and lifestyle? Is comfort the most important? Are you a mom that's run around with the kids? Is it modesty based on religion or personal preferences? Is it sustainability, being eco-friendly? Is versatility important? So you're looking for something that's more day to night, something that can be mixed and matched for your lifestyle. Do you need a sense of luxury? Are you going to certain networking events, fancy galas? Those non-negotiable requirements would be for that wardrobe. That's your value. Secondly, your emotions. So how do you want to feel, right? What emotions do you want your style to evoke? When you get dressed in the morning, how should your clothes make you feel? Do you want to feel relaxed? Do you want to feel polished, confident, approachable, effortless? Lastly, your intention. What message or perception do you want your style to communicate to the world? What do you want your style to convey? Once you kind of dial in on your values, emotion, and intention will be when it comes to your style, you want to reverse engineer, break it down, and identify how those three components translate into your three style word. Going back to values, right? Think about like 3 or 4 things you wrote down that represents your value. For me, I would say I require my clothes to be versatile, comfortable, and high quality. In terms of emotion, I want to feel relaxed, polished, confident, fierce, and powerful. In terms of aspiration, I want to send the message that I am confident, sophisticated, approachable, genuine, creative, and the bold side, right? So breaking it down, start with your dominant word, that non-negotiable, the component of your style that should be constant, whether it's a day look, night look, work look. So for me, the most dominant characteristic that I need in my wardrobe would be versatility and the feeling of being polished. So when I think of those 2 words, I think, okay, how does that coincide to the style aesthetics that we're seeing these days? What style aesthetic would I feel give you that versatility, make me feel polished? I think of basics, essentials, something that stands the test of time, will never go out of style. One word that comes to me, classic. That would be my dominant word. Your second style word is just as important as your dominant, but not as important. So going back to the words that I wrote down, I want to feel confident, relaxed, calm, and approachable. So I think, okay, what style aesthetic ties into that? Descriptors, and I think effortless. So effortless is my secondary word. My third one could be considered an accent. It should be a nod or a cherry on top to your outfit. So I want to show that creativity in my personality, a little playfulness, and a bold vibe. So I'd say edgy comes to mind. Edginess is playful, can be creative, can be bold. Now that we've come up with our 3 style words, we want to just double confirm those style words are true to our brand. So this leads us to step 4, which is what I call confirm and verify. So this is the time where you want to do a Google search and determine what the polar opposite of that style word is. Evaluate what our comfort level is based on the definition or meaning that word represents. You would rate it between like, dislike, or neutral. Those are 3 rating descriptions. So if you dislike your opposite style word, that means your descriptor selected is aligned with your said style identity. If you like your opposition word, then your descriptor may clash with one or more of your style words. We want it to be cohesive and work well with the other 2 words. So in that case, you may want to find a similar word to your original style word and see if that polar opposite word makes more sense for you. So let's break it down in a practice exercise, right? It can be a little cumbersome and a little complex, but trust me, it's not as complicated. So in my example, my dominant word was classic. So I went ahead and Googled the polar opposite word of classic. and trendy came up, right? Not a surprise. The meaning of trend is something that's fleeting. Here for a good time and not a long time, right? My evaluation is I want something that's gonna stay true from season to season. I don't like to follow the rules. I don't like someone dictating to me how I should dress, right? Classic piece that I know will work for my body type, what works for my lifestyle, and that's that. So in this case, the polar opposite of classic does not agree with me, which means classic is indeed part of my brand. Style word 2, effortless. Opposite of effortless is complicated, fussy. I want to feel a bit of ease. I want minimal details, and I want to feel balanced. So effortless ties into my personal brand. The third one, edgy. Now this one I was very surprised on. The opposition word for edgy came up, classic, minimal, and polished, which clashes with my dominant style word, which is classic. That is not going to be an accurate descriptor to use for my brand. There needs to be some harmony and cohesion with all three. So I went back to my other words and saw bold, a similar descriptor to edgy. I looked at the opposition word for that, and it came up as timid, afraid, and cowardice. Who wants to feel that way? So automatically I knew bold was going to be my third style word in lieu of edgy. Hopefully that makes sense. Now at this point, congratulations, you have officially identified your 3 style words, aka your personal brand. Very exciting. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this into a bit of a mini series. This will be the first part of the series, which we completed, identifying your personal brand. And I'm gonna go ahead and branch that out into part 2, which would be how to ignite it, right? Bring it to life within your wardrobe. And thirdly, once you have ignited it, how to flourish in it, applying the principles of style to bring it all together. I look forward to continuing this style journey with you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay tuned for the next one.